Speaking of length, Chet Holmgren, the 7-foot freshman, wins the opening tip, and we're underway.
I don't think he's going to lose many tips this year. I'm just being honest.
So. Like none. Gonzaga starting lineup brought to you by Zip Recruiters. Holmgren gets a touch. Speaking of touch,
I love the fact that Mark Few immediately went to him on the opening possession. And as a young big, it is important to engage them as much as you possibly can early in the game.
So a quick turnover here.
And that was a great call, too. You cannot run out of bounds to create the angle to come back in if you're unforced. And that's exactly what happened on that last play. It's rarely called.
Bolton straight on. Timmy crashing inside for 2. And a fast 4-0 lead for the Bulldogs.
The interior of Gonzaga, just special. Really special. And Drew Timme as special as maybe any player in college basketball this year.
Ryan Taylor gets it to Henderson, and Holmgren ties him up. It'll stay on this end. Holmgren, the highest ranked recruit ever signed by Mark Few.
And you watch this coming over in the help side position. Drew Timme got caught on the high side, and Chet Holmgren just goes up and grabs it.
Ryan Taylor, 6'6", junior from Detroit, puts it in.
The thing about Chet Holmgren, he's the highest rated recruit ever recruited by Mark Few. He'd be the highest rated recruit anybody's recruited. He's #1 in the country. I mean, it's rare in the 15 years that Paul Biancardi has done the ESPN 100. Only twice has the nation's #1 recruit not gone to a Power 5 conference school. The other one was James Wiseman, who obviously went to play for Penny Hardaway at Memphis and was very short-lived. Everybody else has gone to those Power 5 schools. And Chet Holmgren broke the mold and, of course, went to the same high school as Jalen Suggs did, and I think that relationship kind of paid off.
Goaltending on that play is Andrew Polk, the 6'10" sophomore for the Chippewas, hung on the rim. So count that basket. And Gonzaga out in front 6-0. They have won 30 games 5 years in a row. Won the WCC 9 straight seasons. Of course, perfect last year, 15-0. Perfect until the national championship game and the loss to Baylor. On the spin. Now the kick outside. Here's Taylor. He got it. And a three-pointer from the corner.
A little overhelp on that dribble penetration created that seam.
Quickly on the other end, it's Bolton. In a flash.
Rozier Bolton, the transfer from Iowa State. Gonzaga looks to run. I mean, they want to play fast, and their bigs are extremely athletic. They can run the floor, but as we've seen in recent years, that players like Joel Ayayi have thrived finding offense in transition.
Bolton will swing it for Taylor. And he's dragging the foot. That'll be a turnover.
That is an example of Chet Holmgren's presence on the floor, creating an opportunity for his team. Now, that he didn't do anything. He didn't block the shot. But his mere presence there forced the offensive player to hesitate. That hesitation and his weight distribution dragged that foot, created the turnover.
Central Michigan 1-2. They won their first game of the season, a buzzer beater against Eastern Illinois, 62-61. They lost to Missouri. DePaul beat them by 33. Timmy out of the double team. And knocked in the three-pointer. Nemhard knocks it in, the 6'5" senior.
Just so steady of a hand at the guard position.
Henderson going up against the 7-footer. That is tough duty.
Pretty good job holding his position. And look, then he brings the ball up the floor.
Strother and a whistle off the shot. Exactly 17 minutes to go here in the first half. Get a look at Holmgren down low.
Well, there's no question that Chet Holmgren is going to have to gain weight and strengthen, in particular, his lower body. But he does a pretty good job of positioning himself to maintain and make sure that he is a presence on the defensive side.
Big battle for the rebound. And it got stuck in there for a moment. Possession arrow will keep it on this end of the floor.
You go back to that Texas game, only had 2 points in that contest, and a lot of people go, well, you expect the nation's #1 recruit to have more of an impact. I saw this. Dan Vecini tweeted this out, and he's one of the basketball writers that I follow on Twitter, and he said Texas, in the possessions that Holmgren was on the bench, 33% of their shots came in the paint. When he was on the floor, only 15% of Texas's shots came in the paint.
And Tony Barbie getting a little bit too vocal. The officiating crew is Roger Ayers, Eric Curry, and Nate Harris. And so they're going to hit him with a technical. And Bolton will sink that one. Tony may well have been out of that box as well. And Bolton misfires on the second. So a 12-3 lead for Gonzaga. Technical on the coach. And Central Michigan gets the ball back. They play in the Mid-American Conference along with Buffalo and Ohio, Kent State, Bowling Green. Here's Lopez up high on the wing. Henderson lets fly. Can't sink it. Roger Bolton wants to fly down that lane, and he scoops it up and in. No stopping that.
He looked like a running back that saw a seam, and it was a small closing window, but Bolton splits it and finds his way all the way to the cup. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are the nation's #1 team. They're off, and they're running here in Las Vegas.
That's a blur.
Experience Gonzaga Duke Friday at 10:30 on ESPN.
Back in Vegas, Gonzaga on an 8-0 run here. They've opened up a 14-3 lead on Central Michigan. Success over the years has really been incredible. Sweet 16 each of the last 6 years. 20 regular season WCC titles, 16 tournament titles, and 30-plus wins each of the last 5 seasons. They're the first team in Division I history to do that. An amazing run here by Mark Few.
It's so funny. We get to the NCAA tournament every year, and I get tired of this conversation that you have with Twitter sphere and people. Well, playing in the WCC, that really hurts Gonzaga come the NCAA tournament. Are you kidding me? Well, the last 10 NCAA tournaments, they've got more wins than anybody in the country. Right. It's just a false narrative.
Yeah.
They've played in 2 national championship games.
It's an easy reach, but it's always wrong. Jackson out of the corner. He's really their top player, averaging 14 points a game. They take him off the bench. He'll fire again and miss. And a whistle, a foul here against Central Michigan.
And we have a flop warning. We got flop warnings. We got guys running out of bounds trying to come back in and get the ball. I'm surprised by the way that the Chippewas have not fallen back into the 2-3 zone. And I think maybe that's the adjustment that will be made here by Tony Barbie is you're going to pressure up, fall back into 2-3 zone, and try to force Gonzaga to shoot out over the top because 10 of their first 14 points have come in the paint. And that's what they do.
Timmy on a high post and drops it in. 6'10 junior, just about automatic there.
We can't really let the player of the year candidate, though, catch the ball 12 feet away from the basket and not be defended.
Player of the year candidate everywhere you look. Looked the part against number 5 Texas, pouring in 37 points with 7 rebounds against the Longhorns. Shot clock to 10. Taylor will bring it out. He glanced up at the clock. Healy drives it, kicks it, and Henderson finishes.
Does a great job. Dribble penetration on the outside. Broke down Gonzaga's defense, forced him to help up. And that exposed the backside.
Timmy down low. A lot of moves there. And on the line. And a turnover. Take a look at those last 2 hoops.
Well, watch this in the zone. I mean, Drew Timmy just passes the ball and settles right in the middle of the paint, and nobody goes with him. He is wide open. You have to get out and contest that.
Taylor denied penetration there. Healy will back it out. They want Jackson Jr. to touch as many times as possible. Had their game-winning layup at the buzzer to beat Eastern Illinois. 16-5 lead for the #1 team in the country. Bolton trying to get it inside to the big fella, but batted away. Healy from three-point land will nail it. Cameron Healy is a grad out of Sydney, Australia, an outstanding shooter.
You got to have awareness of where he is in transition. It's what he does best.
Timmy's going to draw contact in a big way there, and he'll be at the line where he made 72%. We mentioned his performance against Texas. He was just blistering, 15 for 19. Had 22 points in the first half. And 15 field goals were a new record at the McCarthy Athletic Center.
Look at this group of players here. Justin Bean, if you haven't watched him play at Utah State, a couple 30-point performances already for them. They beat Oklahoma and won the Myrtle Beach tournament. Alex Barcelo surprised me because he's a guard. He's shooting the ball excessively well right now for Mark Pope's team as they throttled Oregon in Portland a week ago.
Timmy to get a breather. Going to swing it up top here on the drive. With 13:44 to play. And Watson will pick up the foul. That's on Watson, the junior out of Gonzaga Prep in Spokane. Excellent defender. Mark Few is hoping for a big step forward from him this season. Bissath at the line.
He's first game of the season for him, and they think he's one of their better players.
Yeah, just got him back.
He had a bone tissue bruise, and they said it kind of reacted like it was a stress fracture. It wasn't, obviously. He's out on the court. But he's one of their best players. He's powerful athlete. He can stretch the floor, can slide up all the way to the three position, which means he's more comfortable at the four, but they can move him to the outside and go tall.
Look at Holmgren straight on for a triple. 7-footer unleashing from way downtown. Good luck defending that. Lopez over the shoulder, can't hit. Holmgren touches the rebound right to himself. And now he brings it up the floor. And a tie-up and a foul.
Dave, I have a question for you, and this is a serious question. Do you believe in unicorns?
I think I didn't until tonight, but I think I might now, Sean.
Chet Holmgren is just, we use the term. Everybody, because Kristaps Porzingis, he's a unicorn. So now if you're tall and you're skinny and you can shoot the ball, you're a unicorn. But Chet Holmgren, he really doesn't have many flaws in his game outside of needing to gain strength. But he can dribble the ball. He's proven that he can shoot it. Why not? Do it again. It's fun to watch.
Really is. Because it's so unusual. He's so talented at this size, obviously, but that group of skills for someone 7 feet. 20-9, the Zags with the lead. Pounding that one's Lopez. And a kick out for Jackson. It'll spin and roll in. Jermaine Jackson Jr.
I spent some time and talked to him after shooting around today, and he just said, listen, we know what everybody thinks this game's going to look like. He goes, but we just want to get better. And we want to use this game as another measuring stick for our team. We've got so many new faces.
Watson with a chance for a three-point play. He took the shot. Made the basket. He'll be headed to the line.
Beautiful dunk down pass, though. I mean, great pin and seal by Watson. And watch Chet Holmgren get the ball. And look at Watson was already posted up before the pass even got to him. And when you're big on the block and you do your work early, it allows you to have more success. If Watson ducks in after Holmgren already gets the ball, he's probably not going to be open to have that timing.
Three-point play for Anton Watson. Opens up a 23-12 lead. Harrison Henderson, 6'11" grad out of Dallas, back on now for Central Michigan. Chippewas only shooting about 40% for the season so far, and 33% from the three-point line. They're going to have to get real hot to stand a chance tonight. Shot clock at 8.
You see the versatility defensively for Gonzaga. They're pretty much switching everything out on the perimeter.
Jackson gets himself a 3, and he'll hit it.
He plays with confidence. There's no hesitation in that shot.
Holmgren on the spin move. Tried to get that going, but draws the foul with 11:42 to go in the first half.
The Gonzaga Bulldogs came to Vegas, #1 in the country, with the #1 recruit in the country. He has his feet lined up and drop it in. Doesn't matter how tall you are. He's got skills.
The freshman from Minneapolis for Gonzaga, Chet Holmgren, in the center of it, more ways than one.
And we talk about the skill set, the uniqueness in which he brings to the table. I mean, he can do a little bit of everything. He can facilitate the offense. He can catch the ball down low and finish around the rim. Had a bunch of highlight dunks against Bellarmine in their last game, but especially from the outside, he's a unique talent. And I spoke with Paul Biancardi, our national recruiting director. It does the ESPN 100. Paul does a great job ranking him. He got ranked #1 for a reason. I mean, Banchero's really, really good. And it wouldn't surprise me if Banchero ends up being the #1 pick in the draft come June. And you saw him already up close and personal. But Chet has the ability to impact the game in a variety of ways. And when you project out, which the NBA does so frequently, they project out to what you can become. You add strength and some weight to the skill set that he has. It's easy to see how he can impact the game even at the next level.
Those two to go toe-to-toe on Friday on this very floor as Duke visits Las Vegas. And Gonzaga can stay right here. Bolton to penetrate. Little floater. That's a pretty shot. Rajir Bolton, a 6'3 senior, who got nearly 16 a game last season. Played for Iowa State, Penn State as well. Hunter Salas, another gifted freshman, into it. Here's Hickman. That was in the cylinder and spit out. Getting a chance to see some of the youngsters play here, and knocked down by Miller on the other end.
Back and forth action. Both teams looking to push and create tempo.
And Roger Ayers is calling a time here with 11:02 to play.
Brian Taylor for the Chippewas just limped off the court. I almost said field. I was thinking about your football game this weekend. Limped off the court. Is being checked out by the trainer at the end of the bench.
So Taylor, the junior, was once a high school state champion in the 400 meters. Talk about a guy who can fly. Getting some treatment. Timmy. Oh, what a fake. Oh. And a terrific pass. Salas, no foul on the play. Gets it on the other end, and it spins off the iron. All started with a great fake out of the corner, and Bolton can't connect. Timmy tried to keep it alive, but there's a foul there. That'll go against Central Michigan.
One of the little things that is probably underappreciated is Drew Timmy's passing ability. He is a very good passer. And against the zone, look at that's like putting the ball behind the back of your defensive player's head, unable to finish it. But then he made another pass fake. You know, and against the zone, you want to try to see if you can shift it. And so frequently, everybody wants to dribble and put the ball down and look to attack. But Drew Timme showing his maturity and understanding. Fake a pass, then make that pass. It shifts the defense and creates longer runouts.
Who does he remind you of?
Well, I asked Coach Barbee, who coached at Kentucky, I said, okay, footwork-wise, and I think Drew Timme has the best footwork of anybody in college basketball. And he says, you know what it reminds me of footwork-wise? Frank Kaminsky. He goes, not obviously the same player because Kaminsky was taller. He goes, but from a standpoint of understanding how to position yourself and be effective, that's who he reminds him of.
Timmy kept on trucking and kept on moving to that basket. That's strength right there. As he knocks it down, 10:07 to go.
Drew Timme, it just gets to his position. It was right on time, too, of just burying your defender in a position where you can catch the ball and he can spin in either direction. Look at him just out-muscle and create that space.
Hudson, 2 fouls for Central Michigan. Rebound chased down by the Chippewas. 27-17 Gonzaga. The Bulldogs try to get to a 5-0 mark, and that one thrown away. Picked up by Salas. Yes, sir. And a timeout, Central Michigan. Trying to keep this one from getting away pretty early. 9:49 to go in the first.
Flat passes across the top of the key. Ill-advised against the nation's #1 team. That's an outlet pass for the Zags. They're flying and finishing here in T-Mobile Arena.
Number 2, UCLA knocked off Bellarmine earlier tonight on this floor. 75-62 UCLA to take on Gonzaga tomorrow night. We'll have that game on ESPN. Dick Vitale will be returning to the microphone as well. And another turnover forced by the tight defense of the Bulldogs.
Right now, Central Michigan is panicking. And they have been completely out of rhythm and disrupted by Gonzaga. They need to settle themselves down and realize there's a lot of basketball still left to play. But if you're going to turn the ball over against this team, you have no hope whatsoever.
Salas with a miss from 3. Salas, one of the 3 McDonald's All-Americans in his signing class for Gonzaga. Jackson trying to get his own shot. Up beyond the 3-point line. 10 to get one off now. Got by Timmy on the move, and a foul. Out high. That was with 7 on the shot clock.
Yeah. I love the aggressiveness, and I love the attack. But you're playing one-on-one. I mean, you get successful possession because you get the foul, but that's not sustainable. The ball has to move. You have to force Gonzaga to shift and play multiple sides of the court. To beat them, you also have to be a jump shooting team. You're not going to get a lot of easy stuff inside the paint, so you've got to knock down the mid-range jump shot and the 3-point shots that you get that are open shots. Their length can be disruptive.
There's Salas just picked up the personal. Under 9 minutes to play and a half. And another whistle. A lot of those now. Bogging down play with 8:55 to go. Bolton. Mark Few not convinced. He thought it was just good defense. Jackson directing traffic. Tried to split 2 defenders. Hickman scoops it up. Off ahead to Salas. Timmy, and a slam. And Gonzaga consistently doing that. Sean turning those turnovers into points.
It's what makes them elite. And to be honest, it's what we saw a lot of last night in this building when Arizona knocked off Michigan. They turned turnovers out into points. They played fast. They attacked the paint.
Blocked out of the sky by Watson. He timed it. That one spits free. It'll go the other way.
For a previous possession, I mean, lose the ball. Good fight on it. Throw it ahead, and Drew Timme, simple, easy finish. A little mustache action. At the other end of the floor, Watson with the monster block. I asked Drew Timme about, some of maybe the brashness of the mustache celebration and the timing of it. He's been criticized by some for it. He says, you know what? It's who I am. I don't apologize for who I am. And he goes, I know most people don't like it. In fact, I'm pretty sure nobody likes it, but my teammates do, and my fans do.
They want the basket by Holmgren, handling it all the way down the floor. Bank shot showing outstanding touch there. They are going to count that.
Look at how he squares his shoulders. I mean, that's what great players do. Your body can be going in one direction, but as long as you square your shoulders, you give yourself a chance.
Shot at a 3-point play here. He's at 77% at the line. You're seeing the full array of skills from Chet Holmgren here in the first half, 34-17.
You're seeing a dominant performance from the nation's #1 team, who's in Las Vegas on a business trip this week.
Yeah, couple of them. Couple of stops on this business trip. With Duke coming up, Lopez. Taylor outside, too strong. Gonzaga on a 9-0 run, looking to add to that right here. And kicked. 7:43 left in the half. We've got a break coming up. Gonzaga really starting to roll, 34-17 on Central Michigan. 3 minutes to go here in Las Vegas. We give you a look at the Legends Classic bracket semifinals. Virginia knocking off Georgia 65-55, and Providence College upending Northwestern. That final is 77-72. So the championship game on Tuesday on ESPN2, 7:30 Eastern time. That'll be the Cavaliers against Providence College.
Yeah, Providence had 5 guys in double figures, and if you're going to focus in on one guy to maybe look at in that game, look at Nate Watson, 6'10", senior, 260 pounds. He carves out a lot of space for Ed Cooley's team. And Ed Cooley's team, you know, they're one of those programs that they just get better and better as the season goes along. February hits, boom, things start turning along for the Friars. Big East is going to be really, really tough this year. Some great wins for that conference from top to bottom.
Draw third. Oh, yes. Nice touch from three-point land.
Local product back home. So he probably has about 30 or 40 friends and family members at the game today.
Biggest kid shooting 57% for the season. So a lot of them are going down like that in the early going. Here's Polk with a little fall away. No. And the Bulldogs really putting a hammer down here in the first half with 7 minutes left. Holmgren in the lane. Bolton gave it up. And a stop by Holmgren.
You know what that makes that such a phenomenal play? Is the unselfishness that Gonzaga plays with.
Offensive.
Yeah. What makes the #1 team? Well, you have bigs that can bring the ball up the floor consistently. We've seen that all night. But look, turn down a shot. Think you have one here? No, no, no. Draw 3 to you and pass it off to Chet. That was great passing, great ball movement, and great awareness.
And a lot of smiles over there on that bench.
That's what I looked like when they said, hey, you're working with Dave O'Brien. I was like, are you kidding me?
Hickman. Oh, and a pretty shot off the window. All manner of shots falling for Gonzaga.
And consistently, where are they attacking? In the paint. I mean, they just absolutely wear you out in the paint.
On the other side with Central Michigan, as you pointed out a few minutes ago, a little too much one-on-one. That's certainly not the case with the #1 team in the country. They are sharing it. And another whistle, 6:14 left.
And we'll have free throws. Who doesn't like free throws?
Who doesn't like free throws? Especially made free throws. Good foul shooting team. Watson at the line. He came in having made all 5 of his this season. Gonzaga preparing. This one is done to take on UCLA, and then Duke coming up on Friday. They continue to have this incredibly difficult schedule year after year.
And let's not forget, they've got a couple more games coming up later on. Alabama contest in Seattle is going to be fantastic.
Alabama's good.
Alabama's really good. They're down in the ESPN Events Invitational down in Orlando. Opportunity maybe to play Kansas in that tournament.
No foul as Polk went down. Here's Taylor and a 3 coming. He'll nail that.
That was better ball movement that time by Central Michigan. They need to do more of that. I know guys started falling on the floor. That kind of creates an opportunity. But ball movement, find the open shot.
Hickman gets his own shot and drills it.
So smooth.
ESPN ranked Hickman the nation's number 22 overall player out of Seattle, a McDonald's All-American.
He had 11 points in his debut against Dixie State. It's weird because usually with the top teams in the country, we're talking about experience. There's experience here on this Gonzaga roster, but there's also a lot of freshmen. So that means their ceiling is very high. There's room for improvement for these freshmen. Not every freshman comes in and dominates right away. And you could be an elite level scorer at the high school level, and you need to learn how to play at the college level. We saw that with Peyton Watson in the opener here tonight. His best game he's played all season long.
Sure was. At 19.
Chet Holmgren has been outstanding in moments throughout the course of this season, coming off a very good game. Tonight he's been fantastic. But you have to understand the game is different. The strength is different. The competition level is different. And as they continue to listen to Mark Few, this freshman group has a chance to be really, really special and help this team continue to ascend as the season progresses.
Jackson again, one-on-one this time. They get it to Healing. Shot clock now a factor. It's at 6.
I don't know if they know
away from the basket. Yeah. Trying to get it up and well short, and a shot clock violation.
That's outstanding defense. That's one way to look at it. The other side would be poor awareness of what the shot clock was. So you credit the defensive pressure there for Gonzaga, but you have to look at Central Michigan. Somebody on the court has to be aware of how much time's left on the shot clock.
Hickman gave it up. Salas back to Hickman. Watson will grab the rebound, and another one coming for Gonzaga. Tried for the alley-oop there. Made it anyway. Strother with the bucket. (48-20). Seth will fire away and hit. As you mentioned, just back. Well, Pristath with a 3. Coming back. He'd been beat up. Expect him to be a very big factor this season for Central Michigan. Holmgren for Hickman. They move it well. Strother again. And tipped out. It will go the other way. And we have a timeout, 3:35 to go here in Vegas in the first half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's.
Chris and Zubin in the studio. Duke, Kentucky, UCLA all in action, with the Zags obviously keeping an eye on the Bruins. We'll talk about that big Tuesday matchup coming up at the half. What have you seen from the first half from the Zags?
Size matters. Every stat where size is indicative of it, Gonzaga's owning. 32-2 in the paint. They're dominating on the glass. The good news for Dave O'Brien is that Sean Farnham has a library of impressions he could do if this one stays out of control in the second half.
It might be early or late first half where those impersonations might have to start by looking at the score. Back to you, fellas.
I think they have already started, Chris. Thank you very much.
I'll take advice if you want to. I mean, Chris knows who I do, so he can send me some texts and I'll
requests.
And yeah, I'll take requests. It's call the hotline.
Yeah. So like every fine Vegas act, you take requests. Gonzaga with a 48-23 lead, and coming up tomorrow. Can't wait for this one. Tuesday night on ESPN, right on this floor. Number 1 against number 2, and an array of talent. Unlike anything you're going to see anywhere else in college basketball.
I mean, that's a better quartet than maybe even Boys to Men, which, by the way, also has a residency. And the quartet is down to just a trio. I don't know if you know that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Spatola and I were talking about that last week in studio. But, yeah, this is going to be fantastic. You're talking about the interior strength of Gonzaga versus the shot-making ability of UCLA. And those wings, and as I mentioned, if you're going to beat Gonzaga, you have to be able to make jump shots. One of the strengths of UCLA this year is their ability to shoot the ball. So it's the contrasting styles that will be intriguing to watch in that contest tomorrow night.
Gonzaga, big rebounding disparity there in their favor, and another turnover here by the Chippewas. On a run, Perry, tough catch in traffic for 2. So everybody contributing coming off the bench.
Yeah, just another huge body. I mean, you're talking 6'9", 225. Ability to check into the game and go, oh, okay, I've got you here. Let me just run right to the rim, bury my defender, and catch the ball.
And kick it over again. Salas in transition. And a follow by Perry. A rim rattler.
You know what they say in Spokane? We got dudes. They do. They got lots of dudes. They are fun to watch.
And it just feels like every mistake made by Central Michigan winds up a basket for Gonzaga. Lopez trying to drive it and will draw the foul. Worth another look.
The ability to, by the way, not anticipate that your teammate's going to make it. I mean, a lot of times, you go down the floor like, oh, he's going to make that. Well covered defensively, clean it up and finish it. Number 72 on the ESPN 100. Caden Perry out of Battleground, Washington.
And Mark Hughes says, we're just scratching the surface with his ability right now.
Yeah, I mean, local product out of Northwest. And a lot of people think rotational minutes are going to be available to him, but he's growing into that right now, getting these opportunities. And I think as his career progresses at Gonzaga, he becomes their go-to guy down low.
Perry again getting another touch. Salas thought about it. Watson spinning, flips it up. That won't drop. 52-25. And under 2 minutes to go before the break. Lopez with a quick step, strong drive. That's a pretty move.
That was a strong move and a little bit poor defense that time by Gonzaga. They were hugging their guys on the weak side, which created that seam to attack with the right hand coming left to right.
Hickman banks it in.
Pretty touch off the glass. I mean, under control, on balance.
A young man who originally committed to Kentucky and right back at him.
They traded buckets here the last couple of possessions.
Rother airborne, got to count that. That'll be goaltended. Second goaltend on the Chippewas here in the first half.
We have 3 freshmen on the floor right now for Gonzaga. Valuable experience.
Lopez will stop. Got 2 men in the air. Back a corner jumper and knocked in by Kevin Miller.
3 possessions in a row, though, for Central Michigan to be able to sit there and say, as we're going to the half here, we're starting to do some things. And some things have to turn into consistent things. And one of the things they consistently have to stop doing is turning the ball over and allowing Gonzaga to get out in transition.
Gonzaga with a rare turnover. So last 17 seconds of the half coming up here. And Gonzaga will go into the break with a large lead nonetheless. Against Central Michigan, a whistle with 5.6 seconds to go. And a foul to give there.
And this is Mark Hughes saying situational basketball. We might be in a position where we can do that, and then we've got to try to figure out how we can execute our defense with a shortened game clock. And that could be valuable tomorrow night or even the night after that.
Here comes Miller looking for a heave, but knocked away from him with 1.2 to go.
Can't do that. Can't throw the ball almost out of bounds with 5 seconds left to go. Now you got 1.2 and virtually no chance to get a good shot. Especially if you throw it backwards.
And Miller did not get it off anyway. So that's the end of the first half. Gonzaga rolling to a 56-32 lead against Central Michigan. Zubin and Chris coming your way at halftime, and then we'll be back in Vegas in just a bit.
Dave, thank you very much. Halftime report is underway, as are the imitations, apparently. Duke and Citadel Paolo Banchero, you said, Chris, he was spectacular tonight.
He was not good in their last game. Coach K challenged him this week in practice. Banchero, 28 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. He was top pick in the draft good tonight against Citadel.
I want to mention that Citadel's coach, Duger Balcom, collapsed about a minute into the game, taken to the hospital. He's 61 years old. When we have any word on his condition, we'll let you know, obviously hoping for the best here. It was an easy win for Duke, 107-81, the final. Of course, Duke opened the season with a win over Kentucky at the Champions Classic. John Calipari and company have Albany tonight. Here comes Ty Washington.
That light is starting to come on. He is starting to play really well. 20 points, shot 50% from the field tonight. Their offense, Zubin, is really starting to function at a high level as a team. Shot 54% in this game, a lot of it in transition, and then executed, I thought, one of their best games, execution in the half court.
Keon Brooks there on the receiving end. Kentucky wins 86-61. As for UCLA, who will see Gonzaga tomorrow night, taking on Bellarmine, Johnny Juzang. Bruins would be up double digits at the half.
Yeah, they ran away with this one, a lot like Gonzaga tonight against Central Michigan, a tune-up game for that game tomorrow night. Tiger Campbell here, he was not great. He's going to have to be better tomorrow night. Only 1 of 7 from the floor, 0 of 6 from 3. But they had no problem against an outmatched Bellarmine.
And that is Peyton Watson, the 5-star freshman, who after a slow start has sort of rounded into form. Welcome inside the Halftime Report with Chris Patola. I'm Zubin Mehenti. So let's look ahead. I think we can safely put this one in the win column for Gonzaga. Let's look ahead to tomorrow's matchup with UCLA. How do you see it?
You know, both these teams aren't going to have trouble scoring. I think for both, they're outstanding teams in transition. So first things first, you've got to get back. You've got to be able to set your defense, force the other team to have to play against you in the half court. And then for UCLA, which is a physical team, I mean, you go back to that game against Villanova, that's what stood out to me is how physical Gonzaga or UCLA can be. But up front tomorrow, you got to be able to guard Timmy, obviously. And then Chet Holmgren, we've seen him be good against outmatched opponents. For example, tonight against Central Michigan. What can Chet Holmgren do against a big-time opponent? He was not good against Texas. He has to show up tomorrow night against a physical UCLA team. I think they're going to go after him. Holmgren has to be up to the task because the best players in a game like this, of this magnitude, your best players, your most talented players, have to be your best players.
It's amazing to think they're playing Duke later in the week, and I think most people believe this is actually the bigger game.
Yeah.
Tomorrow night, 1 versus 2 on the men's side. On the way on the Halftime Report, 1 versus 2 on the women's side earlier today. And to the surprise of some, but not all, wasn't really close. That and more next.
Gonzaga. Timmy. Wow.
Crazy. They're hungry to be stars.
More on the attack and slams it down.
When the lights go out, my light will only shine brighter.
That's quite the week. That's quite the non-conference schedule of people's seasons. They're going to do it in 5 days. South Carolina, UConn will be 1-2 tomorrow night for the men, 1-2 here. Paige Beckers. Aaliyah Boston, though, in South Carolina, just a little too much here, Chris.
Yeah, they settled in the second half. UConn had the lead at halftime, 22-15 for Aaliyah Boston. Just dominated on the interior. South Carolina showing that championship medal in that second half.
They were going to win this thing by a final of 73-57. New women's poll, by the way, is going to come out on Tuesday. So we'll see what happens. Kind of delayed it for this big-time matchup. Houston coming off that Final Four, first time in almost 4 decades, taking on Butler, Fabian White Jr. Cougs looking good.
Yeah, this is a team that has a chance to make another Final Four. They're that good. I mean, they are physical. This thing was over early. Marcus Sasser, a great start to the season for him. Kyler Edwards off to a great start as well. This Houston team is good again.
They'll take on Wisconsin in the next round of the Maui Jim Maui. Wisconsin knocked off Texas A&M. Arkansas and Kansas. Eric Musselman has got it going. A lot of transfers, but there's been a ton of momentum since he got here.
And I think they're starting to settle in. You know, they didn't shoot it well today. Only 3 of 22 from 3. But this is going to be an Arkansas team as those transfers settled in. I think they're going to compete in a very competitive SEC this year.
I mean, you know, Florida won those back-to-back titles, but you can make an argument outside of Kentucky. Second most history in the conference by far, Arkansas.
There you go. Nolan Richardson, baby. 40 minutes of hell.
There you go. Remember that? Mid-90s, of course. All right, here we go. Illinois and Cincinnati. Kofi Coburn doing his thing. And Illinois looked good at the start, Chris. And then Cincinnati was just like a tidal wave.
Well, Coburn dominated early. Illinois goes up 15. They end up losing this game by 20 and give Cincinnati a lot of credit. They started creating some havoc with their defense, ended up holding Illinois to 51 in this game. That defense took over, and then the shot making, look at this, just dancing all over Illinois.
71-51 the final. That's a 20-point margin that Chris referenced. Chet Holmgren, it's almost been a little too easy for Gonzaga. It counts and the foul. Gonzaga can already start game planning for UCLA and Duke on Friday. It's the halftime report. We're back. One of the things Chris said to me as soon as we walked in was, how about Ohio State, huh?
It was a massive win. And this is a very good Seton Hall team. And how about the start to the year E.J. Liddell is having? 28 points today, 8 of 17 from the floor. He's really been the driving force for their offense. Justin Aarons had himself a day as well. But E.J. Liddell, what a start.
That basket there wins it in the final seconds. Plenty of baskets to go around for Gonzaga. 20 minutes to go, and then they can focus on UCLA Tuesday night. Halftime report done. Second half on the way.
We welcome you back to the Good Sam Empire Classic at the T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas. All part of Feast Week presented by Lowe's. Sean Farnham, Dave O'Brien with you. 56-32. Gonzaga rocking and rolling. We are ready for the start of the second half. Complete domination in the paint for Gonzaga.
That might be an understatement when you think about just how talented Gonzaga is and how they're performing here tonight. So much of what they've been able to do here in the first half is attack down low in the paint. Put the mic close to your mouth. And when you watch the paint and the ability to attack it, it started on the first possession, and it didn't go away. They continue to find ways to penetrate that defense and get it where they know they can be successful. And 40 points in the paint in the first half is more than the majority of teams get in an entire game. But if you can't stop Gonzaga in the paint, you have no choice.
Tonight's game track is brought to you by Good Sam. Holmgren with 10 points. Zags plus 34 in the paint. As mentioned, are shooting 61% to CMU's 41%. They're led by Kevin Miller, who has 7 points so far. And Gonzaga has also forced 10 turnovers. Seemed like every time they did force one, it wound up a Gonzaga bucket. Chet Holmgren showing off so many of his skills. You talked about what he did in his first college game, 14 points in his college debut, but 13 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 blocks. The first such debut in college basketball in 25 years. I'm not sure what anyone would want to be disappointed in that.
I don't think anybody can be disappointed in that. I mean, you look at what he's been able to accomplish, and look, I understand. Expectation level is that when you're the nation's #1 recruit, you're going to come out and you're going to be Zion. That's just not the reality. But what the reality is for him is pretty good.
Strother down the lane, can't finish that, but he'll be at the line. Julian Strother, the 6'7" sophomore, big guard. Very athletic, and that'll go the other way. It'll be on Strother. He'll pick up the personal.
I think we had a little mic issue there at the halftime, but what I was trying to say, if you couldn't hear me through your mic, was that if you can't stop the points in the paint for Gonzaga, you have no chance of beating them. I mean, they're that good, and you know on the scouting report says, hey, they want to score in the paint. And yet, time and time again, teams cannot stop them down there because their ball movement, their length, and quite frankly, their talent.
Foul with 19:22 remaining in this one. Seeing some of the reason that Central Michigan is so high on Bissath as he went rising up there.
If you're Central Michigan and you're Tony Barbee, what you're talking about in the halftime is, okay, listen, we turn the ball over. We allowed them to run their offense and be very comfortable. Can we run our offense with some level of comfort and chemistry? And part of the chemistry issue that they have is they have 12 new bodies, 12 new faces. And as Coach Barbie, I said, how do you build chemistry with that many new guys on your roster? And he goes, listen, it's going to take time. It is going to take time, and there have been moments where we look really good, and there's been moments where we've looked really bad. And unfortunately for them tonight, when you're playing the number 1 ranked team in the country, you're probably going to have more bad moments than good ones.
Yeah, it's better start in, minute 1, that chemistry you're talking about. Straight on, a very sweet 3 by Bolton.
There you go, under that screen, and it's just no one there. It's an uncontested, wide-open three-point shot from the top of the key.
He has 10. Anderson trying to pound that one into the deck. Flips it up. They won't drop. Good job by Taylor to keep that alive as he swatted down on it. Shot clock to 10 here. Rolling inside Henderson and a whistle. They'll get Bolton. He didn't think so, but a foul. Roger Bolton picks up the personal.
Henderson go to the free throw line.
You got him shooting 2.
I'm surprised they gave him 2 free throws on that one. I don't think he had gathered and gone into a shooting motion yet.
Yeah, I didn't either. So a break for Henderson, who scuffles at the line, a transfer from Southern University. He's really been around. Started his career at USC, then to Milwaukee, then to Southern, and now to Central Michigan. Holmgren on the dish. And swished in. Out of the corner by Strother.
There's just the extra pass.
A shove there on the baseline and a foul. 62-34.
So the unselfishness of Gonzaga. Holmgren in transition, just that one extra pass. Strother gets his feet set underneath him and just knocks it down. It's simple, and sometimes it's the simplicity of things we don't appreciate.
Timmy just tore it away, and he's going to do it himself with a little something extra. So they have their largest lead at 30 points. And continuing to play defense, too. Holmgren will stuff it in. And they are relentless here, building up an even bigger lead.
They are just a dominating offensive team, and they have been for a while. Year in and year out, they're amongst the top or at the top of scoring offenses and offensive efficiency in college basketball, and with great reason. When you're shooting the ball from 5 feet and in every single possession, you're going to shoot a good percentage.
Anderson drills a 3. 66-37. Timmy will draw the foul. 17-18 to go, and back to Timmy's dunk a moment ago.
This is so impressive. He's fun. Look, I get it. People don't like it. You got a big lead. Little flair, little flash. Basketball is a game that's meant to be fun, right? I mean, play with emotion.
And a little personality. Holmgren keeps it alive, but not free.
To me, it's like in baseball. You do a lot of baseball with the Red Sox, for people that may be listening that aren't aware. Like the Fernando Tatis of the world, they're good for the sport.
I think so.
Yeah, maybe the traditionalist and the old school way, well, don't bring attention to yourself. Let your game do this speak for itself. Yeah, that's fine, but the entertainment value, when we're charging fans as much as you're charging fans.
Holmgren with a triple. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think, hey, this is a new day. It's a new age in sports. Feel free to show that personality. A little flair is a good thing. You're not rubbing it in, I don't think.
And by the way, here's the simple answer to it. If you've got a problem with what Drew Timme does when he scores and does the mustache thing and everything, here's the thing. Don't let him score.
Don't let him score, yeah.
Hey, play better defense. Then you won't have to look at it. If it irritates you that much. I love it.
Well, he's scoring on everybody. He's making 65% of his shots for the year. And 21 points a game coming in. Henderson at the line.
Yeah, Central Michigan, you talked about the Mid-American Conference. Interesting conference. I think Buffalo's probably the best team in the league. But Ohio's gotten off to a really good start this year as well in the post-Jason Preston era for Jeff Bowles. Mark Sears is playing really well, averaging about 17 points per game. They beat Cleveland State. They beat a Belmont team that's really good that won 24 games last year and returns its top 6 scorers. It's going to be tough in league play for the Chippewas. Miami, Ohio beat Georgia Tech in the first game of the season for them. So a lot of times you get caught up on some of these great games that we have, and certainly we've had some great ones. We're going to have a great one here tomorrow night between number 1 and number 2. But there's other games going on in college basketball that for some of these other programs, it really does matter.
Holmgren again. If he came in and saved a rebound.
If he knocked down that shot, I was going to take a 5-minute break, just so you know. I was going to take the headphone off, just put it down and go, okay.
Kind of enough is enough.
There's just so much talent.
Lopez getting well defended. Hodgson tried to save it, but he's on the line. It'll go back over to the Bulldogs, who lead at 69-39 early in the second half. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Here's the personal playground of one Sean Farnham, Mr. Vegas. Talking about Zags got dudes, they certainly do. Chet Holmgren has been sensational, the 7-foot freshman.
What can he do? I mean, that's the question. He's been a facilitator of the offense. They have him down for 2 assists. I think he has more than that. They also only have him down for 1 block shot. I think he's got more than that. I don't think he's got more than 15 points. And he's been ultra efficient. 2 of 4 from beyond the arc, 6 of 8 overall. And he's just getting started, folks. I mean, he's just learning how to play at this level. But when you look at the release and you look at the skill set and the ability to bring the ball up the floor in transition, there's not a lot to dislike.
Got Gonzaga and UCLA coming up tomorrow night, number 1 against number 2. So look at Holmgren's numbers. Ben Bancaro waiting to take on Holmgren and company on Friday. Number 5 Duke taking on Gonzaga right on this floor.
You know what that's like? That's like ordering 2 Farnham flatbreads from the Davenport in Spokane.
Which
I mean, they're just both sensational.
I'm not sure that's allowed by law, but...
Oh, it is. It is.
Oh,
and it's encouraged. You can order 2. Just tell Jen and Robin I sent you.
You think he's kidding? How to turn around here. Talk about a sweet touch.
I mean, look how fluid he is. For a player that size to have that much fluidity in his game, it's not fair.
There have been at least a couple of occasions tonight where he has brought the ball up. Going to be a foul. That's going to go the other way, an offensive foul. Emhart hit with a personal, and that's dubious.
On the open floor, I think he extends out a little bit here. You watch as he comes in. And that's a grab of the arm, so yeah, no, that's wrong. That's just flat out wrong. I mean, look. Does he kind of wipe him away at the end? Yeah, but there's 2 slaps of him that happen first, so you call the first.
Certainly be pass interference if this was football. Four seconds to get off a shot.
We got to get you to Spokane.
I have been to Spokane a couple of times. I've done a couple of Gonzaga games, including a game in the WCC, and I still haven't regained all my hearing because Gonzaga played St. Mary's in that one. But it's one of my absolute favorite places to go. And the basketball is one thing. The fans, the food. Talk about the Davenport. There's great places to go.
Great.
I mean,
it's huge.
Love it.
I will tell you this. One of the things I hope that Gonzaga does is during All-Star Weekend for the NBA, if they have a home game, they should try to get back Kispert, Suggs, and Ayayi and let the Kennel Club really send them off. Because they didn't get that last year in the COVID year. And especially for a player like Corey Kispert.
Yeah.
Like his leadership and what he meant and all that they accomplished. Bring those guys back All-Star Weekend. I haven't looked at the schedule. I don't know when All-Star Weekend is. I don't know if they have a home game or not that weekend. But certainly, that would be a great way to kind of bring those guys back. And
if it's doable.
Yeah, and honor them and thank them for their contributions to the school last year.
An absolutely phenomenal year.
We have a flop technical.
And so Bolton will be at the line. Here Bolton, the 6'3" senior.
So that was the technical foul, and now you shoot the 2 free throws afterwards.
And they'll put Holmgren to the line.
I hope a lot of schools do that. Around the country, they should.
So I think it's a wonderful idea.
You know, especially places like Spokane where you have such a crazy, insane student body. To let those guys come back and really send them off the way that they would have been sent off. Their senior day, I've been up there many times for it. It's special. The kids come down, the managers come down, they come down through the stands, right through the student section.
You're a very popular guy there in Spokane. And obviously, they've named a flatbread pizza after you.
It's a spicy shrimp flatbread.
Spicy shrimp.
It's delicious.
Is it really spicy or just kind of mildly spicy?
It's mildly spicy.
I mean, will it kick your teeth in?
No. It's not like. That's not crazy. It's not peppered with hot sauce.
I can have one.
Yeah.
Gonzaga continues play lockdown D. Watson that time as Holmgren brings it up again.
Do you see any team in the country that has their bigs bring the ball up the floor more than Gonzaga?
I don't see a 7-footer do that anywhere else. And a whistle with 14:06 to go. Gonzaga oozing with talent again. Mark Few has won 83% of his games since 2000, the year he became head coach. 22 consecutive trips to the NCAA tournament. Averaging 32 wins per season since 2013. Bolton. Knocked away. Quick hands there by Watson, and a second effort coming.
Chet almost let that go.
Almost. Watson will on the drive.
And see what happens is when you have shooters on the outside, you start hugging them a little bit more, you start extending out, and then that creates a seam to attack, and that's what Watson did right there. Beautiful job.
And the Bulldogs just keep coming and coming. Corner jumper too strong. Bolton chases that down. Holmgren filling the paint, spinning inside, and before the dunk, he draws the foul. So the freshman will be at the line. And the fourth team foul. So not in the act of shooting. They will put it in from the baseline.
Oh, beautiful.
Backdoor cut and laid up and in, finished by Hickman.
The skill development of the bigs at Gonzaga and the evolution of that and how they play through it. You know, traditionally high-low entry pass type things, they still will go with that. But how about the awareness to one hand, small window, drop that pass down there?
Anderson gave some thought to a three. Here's Healy. Trying to muscle his way inside, kind of a wild shot. I'll tell you, Anton Watson, a junior from Spokane, handling it here. He's had a strong night.
He has had a strong night. Who hasn't had a strong night for Gonzaga?
Well, it's a great point.
But watch this pass, though. Small window. Whoop. Thread it, and the finish.
So Watson to the stripe. As that lead continues to grow for the #1 ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs. Beating up on Central Michigan. And what a Thanksgiving week lineup we have for you. Wednesday, Steph and the Warriors with the NBA's best take on the Sixers. Second game of our NBA doubleheader. Thanksgiving night, 118th annual Egg Bowl. That's Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And the Rangers and Bruins play an Original Six Black Friday matinee at TD Garden in Boston. Saturday night football is Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. Sooners have won the last 6. That is some lineup.
Significant matchup there in that college football game. CFP Standings come out again tomorrow. A lot of change is going to happen with the Oregon Ducks losing this week.
Salas went to save it on the baseline.
You know who didn't lose this past weekend? Ohio State. They looked pretty
impressive. Thank you, Keith.
Oh, man.
79-39, all smiles on that bench. And you're going to do a little football. You headed for the gridiron at Boston College.
I have to. You're calling the game.
Yeah, well.
That and John Tessitore, Joe Tessitore's son. It's his senior day.
Yes, at BC.
I've worked with Joe at ESPN. He's one of my good friends, and I'm going to be up there doing studio. I've got an off day, so I'm going to drive on up and support John on his senior day.
Very kind of you. And it's a very, very big game in the ACC. Sprawling effort by Central Michigan to keep that one alive. And 79-39, they trail Gonzaga.
You know, it brings to point, like Clemson's had a little bit of a down year by Clemson standards this year. Alabama's been elite, but not the top dog in the SEC right now because of Georgia. It is hard to maintain the consistency in any program at the Division I level and be elite. Gonzaga has been #1 in the country in the AP poll for 20 consecutive weeks. That has not happened since the 70s. Since the 70s.
Yeah, I don't think that gets enough attention. Consistently excellent. They'll turn it over here, though.
Producing pros, lottery picks. I mean, it's really fun to watch. If you love basketball, which I do, and you sit back and you start looking at how Mark Few and his coaching staff, and obviously Tommy Lloyd doing a great job already at Arizona, which is no surprise. But you look at the pieces and how they all come together, you go, man, this is a lot of fun to watch.
Well, it's been an amazing program. Missing one thing, and that's a national championship.
Yep.
Gotten into the national championship game a couple of times. You know, and who knows if UCLA had not taken so much out of Gonzaga in that epic semifinal, which, of course, Gonzaga won at the buzzer in overtime. You know, maybe the national championship game against Baylor is a different game. I know Mark Few has talked about that. His team was pretty worn out by that point. Well, I would give a lot of credit to Baylor. They were playing great basketball at that time of the year.
You know what? I'm going to follow up on that when we get back.
Beautiful. 10:25 to go. Glad to know you're still here. 82-44.
I'm not going anywhere.
I know you're not going anywhere.
I'm here for you.
This may sound mad, but the Zags might be bluer than the Blue Bloods. Two great teams.
Gonzaga and Duke.
Two diaper dandies. Experience Gonzaga Duke Friday at 10:30 on ESPN.
Well, that's going to be special. Certainly a Sonic blockbuster. Talking about the Gonzaga winning percentage since 1999. 8:35 under Mark Few. Kansas next, then Duke, and then Kentucky. Blue Bloods indeed in college basketball.
By the way, I did look. All-Star Weekend is February 20th. Gonzaga does play Santa Clara at home. Get it done. Get it done.
You're like a matchmaker, you know, putting all of these pieces together. Somebody should run with this idea.
Be like, here's the rose. You get the rose. You get the final rose.
10:25 left. Anderson at the line, 82-44 Gonzaga.
I'll tell you one thing about the Zags, too, is you know, we talk about the WCC. The West Coast Conference is going to have 3 teams, maybe even 4 in the NCAA tournament this year with the way things are looking right now. I really do think, I don't know what the score is for St. Mary's Notre Dame right now, but I think St. Mary's is going to be there. I saw BYU up close and personal against Oregon, and they beat them by 30 in Portland.
Strother to knock that one down from three-point land. They continue to lay it on. Healy tried to answer on the other end. And it'll be Gonzaga basketball.
But the West Coast Conference 2 years ago, when the 2020 tournament was called off, Gonzaga was obviously one of the best teams in the country, as was Baylor. But BYU was good enough to make the second weekend. St. Mary's would have been a home team in their first round game. All 3 teams would have been wearing home uniforms had they been seeded and had there been an NCAA tournament. This year kind of has that same kind of feel for the conference.
Lopez pushing here on Strother, and a personal foul against Central Michigan. I was ruminating about the national semifinal and the final and the performance by Baylor.
Oh, yeah.
And you wanted to chat about that.
Yeah. 'Cause I think here's what would have been the bigger difference for Gonzaga had the game in December versus Baylor been actually played. And maybe they would have lost that game, so would have lost the undefeated season mantra in that conversation. But they would have better understood how physical Teague, Mitchell, Butler, and Vidal were. And maybe that would have helped them more in that national championship game had that game actually been played in December. Obviously, it was not because of COVID. But it would have been interesting to see had that happened. What if the outcome would have been different when the title was on the line?
What about the theory, too, and I've heard this kicked around, that, you know, with the pause that Baylor had, the COVID pause, that time off to kind of rejuvenate a little bit, that it helped them?
It might have, but when they first came back, they didn't play great basketball, and then they reestablished and got themselves back into their rhythm. I think at the end of the day, Baylor very easily could have been the national champions of the 2020 tournament and the 2021 tournament. Scott Drew has done a tremendous job.
Truly has.
And they're going to be one of the best programs, one of the best teams in the country again this year. And Kendall Brown, their freshman, is really athletic and talented. He had a monster dunk last week. But I think sometimes we don't give credit where credit is due, and Scott Drew's done a tremendous job. He inherited a program that I don't think any coach could have inherited a program in a worse situation than when he took over. And year in and year out, they continue to get better and improve and have been relevant on the national level.
And they had a spectacular NCAA tournament. And a great final.
And they had pros.
Sure did.
And they were collectively physical and disruptive as any team that I've seen at the defensive end of the floor.
Lopez to the line here with about 8 minutes left. In a game that got away about midway through the first half. We look at the Legends Classic bracket now. Games from earlier. Virginia with a 10-point win over Georgia. Providence got by Northwestern 77-72. So there's your final on Tuesday night, 7:30 on ESPN2.
Now you look at Providence. I really like Nate Watson, but I love the Big East. And one of the teams I really love in the Big East is Danny Hurley's UConn Huskies. They have created an identity for themselves in the early portion of the season of being just tremendous on the offensive glass.
On the run out, here's Healy. Healy denied. And now a whistle. No basket, 7:57 to go. We will take the break. 89-48. All Gonzaga tonight here in Las Vegas. Guess who's loving life in Las Vegas?
They are.
Gonzaga fans having a great time. 89-48. Let's go inside the play. Brought to you by Continental Tire.
Their movement in the stands is almost as good as the ball movement that we've seen tonight on the court. Almost. This is just fantastic. The way that they share the basketball, this play in particular. How many passes, no dribbles, making the defense expand back out, drawing multiple players to you, and then being unselfishness to not try to go for the foul in the end one, but to set the teammate up and make them better.
So the bad news for the rest of college basketball is Gonzaga is also very unselfish.
So they're tall, talented, unselfish, look to score in transition, and dominate in the paint.
Other than that, Strother to the line, the 6'7" sophomore, Las Vegas native. On the second effort, Perry got up there, almost blocked. .745 to go. Gonzaga making a run at 100 points. They've yet to do that this season.
If they don't score 11 points in the next 8 minutes, I will be rather shocked.
Rather shocked. Miller kicks it out for Jackson. Shot clock's down to 2. They'll turn and fire. And it didn't touch anything. A shot clock violation. And Matthew Lang, the senior from Portland, Oregon, will check in for Gonzaga. Strother hitting the bench. So Ben Gregian wearing number 33. So Coach Few going to his reserves.
You think about back-to-back games. This is probably exactly what Mark Few would have hoped for. The opportunity to limit the minutes of his starters, gain experience for his freshmen, and get guys off the bench to get them ready for tomorrow night.
Holmgren, by the way, with 20 points. One of those freshmen, a follow-up and good.
Jaden Perry might have 20 points with as many points as he's scoring in quick buckets. I mean, look, he's a ways away, but considering his points per minute, I mean, it's pretty tough.
Miller, nice little spin for two. Central Michigan getting to 50. Well, we certainly hope you'll join us tomorrow evening as Salas dropped that one downstairs, and that will send Perry to the line. And he'll be shooting.
So excited. Dick Vitale coming back for the call of the game. Been battling cancer.
It's going to be a very emotional night, I think, in the arena. Certainly for all of us who know and love Dick Vitale, and you and I have gotten a chance to work with him so much over the years. And I know he's been an amazing partner to me and a great friend and to so many of us. And everything he's done for cancer research and for charities. But coming back, I know, is going to be terribly emotional for him to return to doing what he loves to do so much, what means the world to him. And then you think about all he's done for college basketball. Who else can you name who has promoted the game anywhere near what Dick Vitale has done in his lifetime?
And the answer is nobody. I mean, he is the soundtrack of college basketball. You know, from growing up and the VHS videos, because we used to have to go to Blockbuster, but I'd rent the videos, you know, the Rolls Roycers, the PTPers, the Diaper Dandies.
You told me when you were a teenager as a young player, you used to go and grab those and play them over and over.
Oh, my goodness, all the time. The likes of Larry Johnson, Stacey Augmon, those teams. Yep. You know, Dick Vitale has been the storyteller of all of it. And for 30-plus years at ESPN, he has been that voice.
And we've missed him terribly. And to have him back on a big night, number one against number two, going to be so much fun. But yes, it's going to be a very touching evening too. Certainly hope you'll join us tomorrow night on ESPN as UCLA and Gonzaga battle it out. Loose balls, we come up on the 5-minute mark. And Mark Few's gone heavy to his bench. Hickman on the drive and knocks it in, and he'll be at the line. McDonald's All-America. A very talented freshman originally out of Seattle.
And just as we talked about with Peyton Watson in game one here tonight, you know, opportunity for freshmen to start to get comfortable and understand how they have to play and the physicality of the game, absorbing the contact, being able to play through it.
Miller around and out on a three. Greg back out for Salas and a triple. Hickman around the back on the attack. Lang will scoop it up and hit it. Now contributions everywhere for Gonzaga tonight. Closing in on 100 points. Trying to double up Central Michigan.
The block by Ben Gregg was sensational at the defensive end.
Gonzaga with 10 different scorers in this game. Hickman gets himself an open two, and that'll spin in.
I think they're going to get to 100. I just wanted to let you know. You'd asked me.
Well, I didn't ask you. I said they're going to get, if they get to 100, it's a season high. That's what I said.
I wasn't listening.
Wouldn't be the first time. Lopez off the mark. Salas down the lane will lay it in. And there it is, as predicted. They've doubled up on the Chippewas, 100-50.
Do we get like free chips to go back to the tables with? You can score 100, they give you like a $5 chip.
Should get something. Big scoring night. Lang again. Not this time. Follow is up and good by Greg. And a timeout with just over 3 minutes to go. We will take the break as well. The Bulldogs on quite a roll, 102-50. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball brought to you by Camping World, America's #1 RV dealer, and BioSteel, the official hydration partner of the Empire Classic. BioSteel, clean, healthy hydration. Plenty of water for you.
Have you been down to the Bellagio for that?
Oh, sure.
It's fantastic. It's the one thing I go to every single time I come to town. I'll take a walk down there. I'll watch one of the performances of the music, and then I go in the other direction. It's Joe Few.
Coach's son gets in.
Now he's got to get up a shot.
Well, everybody else has. And they've made most of them, feels like. Haley back out for Lopez, under 3 minutes to go. A lot of substitutions here for Gonzaga.
Rebound by Joe.
Crowd would like him to get off a shot. A lot of Gonzaga fans hanging in till the end. Here's Perry.
Will Graves.
Yeah, long one off the back of the iron. Second effort by Few.
I don't know why Few doesn't play more. He's got 2 rebounds in 20 seconds.
Right.
His rebound per minute's off the charts. Somebody should tell the coach.
Lang hits it. A three-pointer.
Everybody's getting the action today. How many points is that for Lang? Is that 5?
Should be, yes. Henderson. Got a great look, not there for him. Season high for the #1 team in the country. Here's Few. Whew. Look good coming off the hand.
His dad smiles on the bench. You gotta in that moment, you gotta be dad more than coach, right?
He just turned into Pop. He really did.
Like,
big grin on Mark's face there.
That was awesome.
Now all of a sudden he's 15 rows into the stands, right?
Celebrate the moment, coach.
Yeah, 105-50. First, just blocks away, the Maui Invitational going on. We give you a look at that bracket. Wisconsin, a nice win over Texas A&M. Houston beat up on Butler. Oregon and Chaminade at final 73-49. And currently on ESPN2, St. Mary's and Notre Dame. And the semifinals coming up on Tuesday. Wisconsin and Houston already into the semifinal round along with Oregon.
So much fun to see Coach Few smile when his son took that shot. Assistant coach is elbowing him a little bit.
So Henderson will be at the foul line here for the Chippewas of Central Michigan. Harrison Henderson, 6'11" grad out of Dallas. It's really a great week for college basketball. And so much of it's right here in this city, in Las Vegas.
They do big shows better than anybody. And the big stages will be here this week. Whether it's tomorrow night's game, Friday night's game for the Zags, the Maui Invitational, and the champion will be crowned.
Gonzaga and UCLA, #1 against #2 tomorrow night on ESPN. We'll bring that to you right here from T-Mobile. Shot clock inside 10 now. And a tie-up on the play. Going to call a foul, too. Arlauskas on the move.
I'll tell you one of the things, too, that Tony Barbee told me at shoot-around. He said, listen, Sean, we can come here and we could lose both games, and my team's going to be getting better because of it. You know, it's what you want. You want to challenge yourself, and sometimes those challenges can be painful. And tonight's score is painful to look at if you're a Central Michigan fan. But for Tony Barbee, he's like, this is all part of the process of me having to get my program where I need it to be.
Greg will draw the foul, just over a minute left. And Central Michigan trying to build last year 7-16. So a coaching change, bringing Tony in. Spent a lot of years with John Calipari at Memphis and Kentucky, and actually played for him at UMass before that.
Ben Gregg is at the free throw line. He actually came to campus early last year. He could have played out his high school senior season with COVID and everything that went on. He decided to enroll early. I think that time has benefited him. It may not have benefited him as far as minutes go thus far in his career, but I think it will as time goes on.
Under a minute left. Webb will fire it up there and airball it. And out it goes back over to Gonzaga.
All right, so here's the main point here is with 48.2 seconds, this will be the final shot of the game for Gonzaga. Who gets it? Will Graves says, I'll take it. Will Graves, by the way, son of Kelly Graves, the head coach of the Oregon women's team. Hey, actually, they'll get one more shot off because there's 2.5 seconds left. It's a 2-for-1 by Will Graves. I like that.
Love how you continue to build the drama.
Come on, Joe.
Here's Few. Wisely kicks it out. It's Greg. Got a great look. And a tie-up here. 14 seconds left.
It's so fun to see all these players out on the floor. And here's the thing that people don't realize is the greatest thing about team sport. If you watch everybody on the bench right now, they're happy to see everybody out on the floor get an opportunity to play because they're there every single day at practice.
Greg up. That won't drop. Kicks it out. Few.
He said no more.
And that will do it. Final score 107-54.